You know
Whoever might be new to us and is like, what the hell are they even talking about? Welcome. No.
Makes me cringe so hard. I don't know why I hate it.
Surprise, surprise. I did the 5-sentence summary today.
It's like satisfying. Once you get going, it's hard to stop.
We have a giveaway.
Welcome to the Besties in the Books podcast, guys. I'm Liz.
And I'm Ashley, and today we are doing our West of Wicked deep dive.
Exciting.
The follow-up to the episode where we got to interview the amazing Nikki St Crowe. That was such a fun interview. And if you want to check it out before diving into this book, if you maybe haven't read it yet and you want to see a spoiler-free interview, find out a little bit more about the behind the scenes, some of the things that went into writing this retelling, then check out that episode. It'll be linked down in the description box, but it's super fun. So chill, so cool. What a great opportunity to be able to talk about the freaking awesome Nikki St Crowe. Oh my gosh.
Well, and to be able, like, I was thinking about this actually earlier today when I was making my notes about this. It's like, it's nice to be able to talk about obviously with Nikki, because she's amazing, but then also just with us too, like a different iteration of Oz that's like, not quite so, I mean, not even not quite so heavy, completely not as heavy, very different, still has important themes, which we'll get into, but it was refreshing to go back to Oz in less of like a
depressing soul crushing way. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was a little gun shy, not gonna lie. You know, Nikki's publishers reached out to us to see if we were interested in covering this book, and Liz is like a through and through Wizard of Oz, like, obsessed fan, okay?
Well, and I'm like, Nikki St Crowe obsessed fan. That's the other part.
Also Nikki St Crowe for sure. So she's just like trying to be cool, like, hey, think about this. And I'm like, she knows I'm like really a little gun shy about Oz right now after reading the entire Wicked series. So I'm like, let me look. And then so she's like, this is how many pages it is. I'm like, okay. And basically I was like, okay, fine. Like, it's gonna be different. It might help me like reframe my thinking again and appreciate Oz. So, and that's what it did. So
yeah,
it was good. I'm so glad we squeezed it in. So, like, literally the day that I was leaving for the Disney cruise that morning, we filmed it, and it was so great, so awesome.
Well, it's like we talked about this a little bit in the interview with Nikki, but obviously I know a lot of you guys and me too got into her writing because of the Vicious Lost Boys series, and specifically the audiobooks. And so, did you listen to some of the audiobook for this one, or did you do all? Yes. Okay, so Ashley will be able to tell us about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it because I was so curious. There's six or seven. I gotta check 6, 7. Like,
oh no!
My 5-year-old says it all day now. Sorry guys. Sorry if I triggered the kids out there. I swear they just start coming when they hear 6, 7. Now I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, I was so curious with that many people casted and it not being. What is it called? Like, what kind of narration is it?
Like dramatized audio or something like that?
It's not a dramatized audio, which I don't know if that's a different story for another time. Okay, it wasn't a dramatized audio, so I was curious. Liz raves about the audiobook narrators for previous series, and of course she was raving about them as well. So I'm like, okay, I gotta like dive into this. Ooh, immediately sucked in.
Yeah, so I read this all, like the physical book arc that we got sent ahead of time because the audiobook wasn't out when I read it yet. But I did pre-order the audiobook, so it is sitting in my Audible. So whenever I read book 2, like we'll get into that, but whenever I read book 2, I'll probably do a refresher with the audiobook because I feel like hers are just like unmatched. So I'm excited to hear more details about that from you.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you guys want to stick around for the deep dive into West of Wicked to find out what you're getting into for this, the first 15 minutes will be spoiler-free. So we will, do our faves and fails. We'll give our spoiler-free reviews, who might like reading this, who we'd suggest it for, and then we will get into our deep dive portion. But before we do that, we just wanted to say thank you for being here.
thank you so much for taking time out of your day and your book to come and hang out with us, see what we had to say about the West of Wicked book and the series that's going to be coming out, because this is part right now of a 3-part series. So exciting.
Trilogy.
Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe anywhere you like this favorite podcast, including YouTube. We are Besties in the Books podcast everywhere, Instagram and TikTok as well. And then if you want to join us on Fable for some virtual non-committal book club reads, go ahead and check us out on that app at Besties and the Book Club.
And just as a little treat to you guys who decide to stick around all the way until the end, we were lucky enough to get extra copies of this gorgeous sprayed edge hardcover full color map of West of Wicked from Nikki St Crowe and her publisher. And so we're going to be giving a couple of them away. So Ashley over here, Vanna White, showing us all the goods. So yeah, stick around to the end and we'll make sure to give you all the details so that you can enter that. Let's just kick it off with our faves and fails of the week. Shall we do that?
Let's do it. Let's jump on in.
Okay.
The water's fine.
So, all right. I'll just start with my fail and then move into fave, because the fave was just like so funny. Okay, well, I have a 2-part fave, but it's stupid and silly. My fail is that after being sick for basically a month, I feel like if I wasn't perpetually behind before, I feel like I'm just like the snowball from, I mean, owning a business and being sick for a month. And then obviously, like, at this point I consider this like my other business, our business. And so it's like being behind on my reading schedule and my planning and plotting schedule and like all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, I just put here, I guess I'm just perpetually behind forever. That's what I
no.
Which it's like, I feel like as adults in 2026, like we all feel that to a degree anyway. But I feel like right now it's like that times like 10,000 billion. And so I'm just like, all right, it's cool. It's fine. Like,
yeah.
Someday I'll be somewhat more organized. I don't know. Maybe not, but I hope to be someday.
Do we just learn to live with it? That's such a frustrating feeling too. It's overwhelming. It's panicky. So it's like, do we learn to live with it and not feel so overwhelmed by it and accepting like, hey, this just is the normal right now.
Yeah.
Just be behind. Because it's like, that's the thing. I think our schedules are so overfilled that it's just like, it's just not going to go away. I don't know. Grab another cup, try to fill it up.
Well, it's hard because it's like, I feel like if you're a creative person like you and me, we are not okay, like, accepting the fact that, like, life is basically paperwork and chores and routine. Like, we need a creative outlet, like, to not go spiral off into insanity. And so it's like, we have to prioritize those things for ourselves, whether it be reading or podcasting or, like, doing whatever other kinds of things we want to do. And so that makes the balance even more complicated sometimes, but it's worth it. But I just feel like right now I'm like, I mean, this week I crammed in When the Moon Hatched, which, as you guys know, is a 711-page book. So, and that was part of my fave of the week because this was a reread, and holy cow, I had forgotten 2 major twists, for one thing, completely forgotten them.
Yeah. Oh, good. So what a treat.
It was great. I was like, learning it all over. It's like you see those funny reels. Like if I got amnesia, I'd read Throne of Glass all over again. And that's how I felt. I was like, I don't have amnesia. I just have ADHD and forget everything immediately. So it was quite a delight. So I will say, even though it was chaotic, binging When the Moon Hatched this week was a treat for sure because it's such a freaking good book. And we'll get into all that later.
Yeah. Well, this is actually, I think, going up after those episodes. So we have now
already gotten into it.
When the Moon Hatched and probably Shield of Sparrows and then Rights of Starlings should be up too. But if not yet, they're coming. And same thing with the When the Moon Hatched second book. So we're doing all that in the preparation of the releases. So if they're not on our channel yet, make sure you're subscribed again so that you don't miss out on those deep dives. But rereading fantasy originally, I thought like, oh, it's not going to hit the same. It's going to be a little bit boring and sloggy. No, I keep calling the first one that. Sorry. I did Shield of Sparrows and When the Moon Hatched back to back, and they were still such a treat, and I loved them.
Both, same for me too. Yeah, I'm a very like visual person, and so like literally when this is gonna make me sound weird, but maybe you guys can relate. I don't know. It's almost like if you picture the book as like a puzzle. Like a intense high fantasy book like, you know, Shield of Sparrows or When the Moon Hatched. When the Moon Hatched there's a lot of world building and stuff going on in there. Mm-hmm. It's almost like, let's say you have, you know, 1,000 pieces to the puzzle. I would say after a first time reread, I probably have about 60% of it filled in. And
Yeah.
I'm not even fully aware that that's all that I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until you
for sure.
go in and reread it. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, oh, and then you can like piece together even more of that. And I would say after a second reread, I'm probably, I don't know, maybe I'm being optimistic, but maybe around 90%. I would estimate that the third time you reread it, it'll fully click all the way.
Well, and once the whole series is out too,
Yeah.
I think. Because we're not supposed to know everything yet.
Yeah. But I mean,
So it's
it's
going to be even more and
like,
more and more and more.
I know. It's just crazy. But it's like you don't realize how much you missed that first time until you do the reread. And then you're like, oh, okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then with these ones, too, it's like because of the fact that we're covering them in preparation for the new ones, I have a system that I finally have established with note-taking on these big reads. And so that will be great moving forward as well, so that I won't have to do a complete reread on everything unless I, really want to, unless we really want to. Yeah. So very exciting. Okay, so... The other fave of the week that I just have to tell you about, I haven't had a chance to have a girls' night like with my sister and Racinda in ages because we've just been so busy. We finally got together, and basically someone out in the wild said my least favorite phrase of all time to me, which is cool beans. I hate saying it. It's like makes me cringe so hard. I don't know why I hate it. I looked up its origins, and apparently it got popular because of Full House. Did you know that?
Oh, no, I had no idea the lore behind it.
That's the lore. So, love Full House, do not love cool beans, okay? But yeah, someone said it to me, and it was so funny because my sister knows I hate it. So, like, the second the person said it to me, she kind of, like, gently nudged me in the side, and I kind of gave her, like, a side eye. Like, we knew what happened. It was, like, a thing.
Yeah.
And so then when we went back to her house, just kind of like enjoy the evening and hang out together, we decided that we would start like asking everyone like what their least favorite like popular phrase is. And some of them were just so funny. I just have to share a couple of them that we had gotten online. One of them was cooked to perfection.
Oh, well, that's like gum is perfection, so I can appreciate that.
But it's just like, I just love how different as humans we are, that for some reason, it's like cooked to perfection is like the thing that throws you over the edge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Because it just seems so benign. And then you have like, like my husband hates it when people say no worries to him.
Oh, no. Keep them away from me.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I said. I'm like, I say stuff like that all the time. Racinda, one of her least favorites is when people say vibes. And I was like, oh, no, because that's all we say all day long. Even my husband was like, oh, that's your guys' favorite word. I was like, I know.
Sorry about it. I ain't gonna change though.
Yeah, so that was just a good time finding out all the phrases that just like make people's skin crawl. So maybe we'll post a question box on our story asking you guys to tell us because
like pet peeve phrases. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Well, and then we were like trying to think of like, well, what are like the key phrases that like you love though?
Ooh, a lot.
I know
I like
so many.
messing them up, so that's fun.
Yeah. Well, the first one that popped to mind for me was I was like, you know what? If I had to pick one, I'd have to give it to I'll see you then or I'll see you at another time. That's gotta be like my favorite.
Yeah, especially because that's not like a common thing. It's a I love you man reference too. Yeah. I'll see you then or I'll see you another time.
Yeah, and it's great. Everything about it's
great.
Full
House did it. Why can't Paul Rudd do it? Of course he can. You can do anything you want.
I think that they do. It's just from, it's like we have so many popular things like, from Friends, from Anchorman, from I Love You, like all those different things that like have made it into the, popular lexicon or whatever you want to call it. But it's pretty entertaining. So
yeah,
that was my fave of the week because now we have like a list going. So
that's great. Love it. It's so fun.
I know. So what about you?
Okay, so fave and fail. I'll start with my least fave, and I ain't gonna go into it because we don't have a million hours. I'll just say this, guys.
Okay.
We rushed trading in our car, and we didn't need to. Therefore, chaos ensued. Mistakes were made. Things happened, and I'll deal with it.
I like it. You're like, and I'll deal with it.
And I'll deal with it. Making the best out of it. I'm grateful, like, for whatever, but there were some safety features that were not in there that I just thought were, and I was told there was, and they're not. So I'm dealing with it, okay? My word of advice is, hey, come in with a laminated list or a list on your notes of things that you can make sure you go over, because when time gets down to it, or when it gets down to test driving, especially if it's a different brand car, you're going to forget everything that you needed. You know?
Yeah, it's like
and sometimes the experts don't know shit and they lie.
Sometimes,
or they think that they
almost all the
know
time.
and they don't. So you need to go physically, manually go and check those things. Go check it. Hey, as a woman, stop minimizing myself. Stop being a people pleaser, which I wouldn't normally call myself that, but I'm like, well, there's a lot of instances where I am doing that. So, you know?
I think we all do it. It's like very deeply ingrained in us because when we are... You know, it's like we talked about it briefly before, but it's like, you know, when we are trying to be out in the world, not necessarily with the people that we know and who love us and who get us, out
like,
in
I'm
the
not going to
world.
try to please them. Yeah.
No, sorry guys. We don't care.
It's disguised as being polite, right? Out in the world.
Yeah. Well, it's like we try to be, you know, like, let's say efficient or thorough. Right? Like, let's say we come in with our laminated list and we know that these are all the things that we want and require, whatever. You know, when a woman does that, oftentimes it's perceived as being like overly picky, you know, nitpicky, difficult. You know, there's a negative connotation there. I think sometimes, like for me, I was trying to explain this to my husband. It's not necessarily that I care what the car salesman thinks about me. It's that I get really tired of having to like defend myself. Even if you're not openly defending yourself, because we have to exist like that all the time. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It's not even intentional. Yeah. And it's just something that I think, how we just operate and move throughout the world.
Because it makes it easy. Because it's a very complicated topic, guys. I'm sure you guys know. But it's because we... in situations such as these, oftentimes we'll choose the path of least resistance, which looks like people pleasing.
Path of least resistance.
Yeah. Because we know, not just at the car dealership, but at the world at large, anytime that we decide to make ourselves bigger or quote unquote more difficult, that resistance can cause a lot of other problems and can make our lives a lot harder. Yeah. And that gets exhausting by the time you are around our age, I think. Yeah.
And, you know, those learning lessons that I didn't want to learn, again, at 8:38, but maybe it'll click for me this time, you know? So
I just love that you texted me and you're like, I gotta just make a list that has like, does the car have 4 wheels? Does it have 2 windshield wipers?
Don't ask. I'm gonna go physically check. I'm gonna be like Dwight in The Office when he's like home inspecting. I'm gonna be annoying like that because whatever. Call me annoying. Call me a bitch. Whatever. But like when I ask somebody point blank, does it have this? Oh yeah, of course it does. I'm like, yeah, right. Of course it does. It's a 2023. Like yeah, of course. I've had it on my last 3 cars since 2015. Of course it hasn't. Of course. It doesn't, though. That's all the last thing I'll say about that. We can all learn maybe something from that conversation and glean. Don't minimize yourself. Go check it manually because nobody knows what they're talking about, we have found.
And if a guy does it, he is just being efficient. So there's that.
Yeah, it's a little bit freeing. It is. You telling me that when you were talking me off the ledge, or like standing with me on the ledge. I'll actually rephrase standing with me on the ledge and being like, you know what, you're valid, you know, validating my feelings and my crash out. So appreciated that. My fave of the week, however, though, is I like deep cleaned downstairs and rearranged all the furniture, which was like, we were ready for like a reset, you know, and the Our dog is coming up on 2, so we've been experimenting with her outside of the crate, so she doesn't sleep in a crate at night anymore. She has a bed at the end of our bed. Not that she doesn't sneak into our bed all the time, and we have to tell her to go back down to hers. But, and then eventually we'll be crate free for her, but we're getting her used to downstairs in the crate when we're not at home. So we're still worried she's going to chew up stuff, you know? Not that she doesn't, but she doesn't have the opportunity. Not that she does chew up, but yeah, she doesn't have the opportunity to do that. So that's good, but of course, it's like she's massive, so her crate is massive. So trying to find a place in our small house for that is tricky. But I got to rearrange everything. It felt really good. And I got all the laundry done. I'd already done ours, but like all the other random like pillows and blankets and the girls' laundry. So got it all done the same day. And so whoever told me, hey, do your laundry on a day that you're doing other house cleaning, because then you won't forget about it. It actually works. So thank you so much for that suggestion, because I've done it a couple times now and it does, because I'm walking by it, you know, I'm seeing it. But if I just turn it on and then go downstairs and work on podcast stuff or something, out of sight, out of mind, baby. See you later, or see you in 3 days when I have to rewash you.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
it was great. So that's a major win. I feel good going into the week and I feel ready. And now I don't have a million things I have to spread out throughout the week. I got most of it done yesterday. So
Nice.
it's good.
That does feel
Feels good. Feels good. Feels great. Yep.
Yeah.
But
did any Alani's help you through?
No, I'm weaning myself. So
that's tough.
I have, I've taken little hits every now and then. Because, I mean, I'm not supposed to do a lot of caffeine anyways.
It's like Chandler smoking the cigarette out of the drawer. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yes. I love that.
And not like weaning myself completely, because like, give me a break. But like, you know, I was mostly only drinking half a can. I think when you were here though, I was up to almost a full can. I'm trying to do like half a can. So now I'm like at a third of a can, maybe, you know what I mean? Like I think since I opened one, I think on Friday, and I think there's a little bit left. So is it as good and crispy? No. But it gives me like a little bit of energy at that 3 to 4 o'clock time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, give me a break. I used to make second coffees and then I would feel gross. I don't know. Something about coffee like would make me feel gross the second cup later. The Alani's don't. The Alani's give me life. It's great. So if I could live on a third, that's even better for me. So,
okay.
Yeah. And then I still get the hit. I still get the vibes. Sorry. And yeah. There you go. I'm happy with that.
I had to inquire, since it's, you know, a core piece of our lore now.
Yes, it is. And I do like the mini cans, but they need to make more. They do.
There's just not enough flavors.
But also, I don't like the mini cans because there's something about that tall boy. That just, it's all perfect. Everything about
the hand feel.
The hand feel. It's the hand feel. It's the mouth feel. I won't put them in glasses because it's different. I do this with sparkling water.
I do
because I
soda.
love my
Diet Coke?
it's crispier coming from the aluminum can.
I know.
And I'm like, how can I get it even crispier than that? I bought one of those like the tall can sleeve things. It makes no difference. So don't do it.
Well, I like the. Are you talking
and then
about
it feels weird on your mouth.
Are you talking about the ones that just keep it cold?
Yeah, Corksicle I have.
Okay, see, I have a Yeti Colster that I use for my Diet Cokes that I love. I'm obsessed with that thing. It will keep my Diet Coke cold forever. And I was thinking about getting one in the shape of the Alani's as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to experiment more, or maybe the Corksicle's like lip is too fat, so it kind of takes away the drinking experience for me.
That must be
maybe I could
because
put it in there when I'm not drinking it. You know what? Because you know the thing about Alani too. Once it's like a little bit warm, it just doesn't satisfy me as much.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to drink it kind of fast, but not fast. But like I'm a slow drinker, so
me too. Like I will drink a cold brew for like 4 hours. My husband's
literally,
like, "What are you doing?" Like literally,
that's the difference too. Mm-hmm. And Alani would probably take me hours if I'm drinking the whole thing for sure, Yeah. Otherwise, but now I'm like forcing myself to drink it quicker because I really like that. It's a texture thing, but not. I don't know what to call it.
Well, you
it's
like it when it burns your throat.
Yeah.
That's
It could be caffeine free, honestly, and I would actually probably like that even better because I could drink a full one every day.
I know, we're like, dear Alani, type. Can you please make your drinks but caffeine free? They're like, now we're just making soda, basically.
It's
Which is
different,
weird because
though.
you don't like
soda. Yeah.
But that's what it would be. I think it's because they have just better flavors. Like
they
their
have such good
flavors are better.
flavors. It's a perfect crispy mouthfeel. Listen.
Yeah.
You guys know how we love Alani.
I was gonna say, like,
it.
you don't need to explain it to me. But yeah, no, I will say the Yeti Colster does not affect the can at all. Like,
okay,
yeah,
it's pretty slim.
Yeah,
we'll have to talk. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
We don't need to keep them here for this. Yeah, because maybe mine is too thick.
Yeah.
So these things are important to us. Okay.
I mean, honestly, like, I would say that it's unrelated to books, aside from the fact that I have had people DM me to ask me which Colsters I use on my book account. So it is somehow related. Yeah, very tangentially, but it is important.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is. I mean, come on. We're creatures of comfort. What can we say? Yeah, so, we know what we like. We're not picky. We know what we like. How about that?
It's true. About that?
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, like, just to cycle back around, we'll go full circle with this. I remember in my first women's studies class, that was one of the first things we did, is we looked at a chart, and it had, like, basically qualities or adjectives that meant the same thing, that were synonymous, but one basically would have, like, a societally negative connotation, and one would have a societally neutral or positive connotation, and the split was very gendered. So think about that next time, because it makes sense, because are we picky? Yeah. Or are we just decisive, perhaps?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so should we give our spoiler-free reviews of West of Wicked, since that's why people are here? Maybe. I don't know. Probably.
Let's get into it now.
Let's get into it. Okay. So, West of Wicked by Nikki St Crowe, I gave a 4-star. I gave a 4-star, and I gave a 2 spice. And the reason why I say those together in the beginning is because of the reason why I gave this a 4-star was because of the fact that it was a 2 spice. Because I was expecting, I mean, after reading the whole Vicious Lost Boys and Devourer series, like spinoff series, I had an expectation, and this is a me problem, because nowhere did anyone tell us that it would be the same. You know what I mean? It's not like it was misrepresented at all. I just was expecting the level of spiciness that I had come to expect with those series, and so I was a little bit like, oh, this was a lot less than I thought, and so that's why I gave this 4-star. However, I will say that because of the fact that we know that this is a trilogy, and, going into future books, I will be doing the audio as well. It could be likely that it'll get bumped up to a 5-star once I read the whole trilogy and listen as, like, one entity. Because I did really thoroughly enjoy it, and I think that for a romantasy retelling, it was easy to digest and entertaining and a fun, quick read, which is also, I think, what a lot of people have come to expect from Nikki St Crowe. And she's even said herself, those are her favorite kinds of books to read, so that's why she writes them. So, 4-star, 2 spice. What about you?
Okay, so I don't love, or I could take or leave spice for me. So it probably helped me because there's not too much of it. Honestly, 2 spice surprises me, but maybe, like you said, maybe I've just gotten used to it. So, because it's not a lot of frequency. Couple scenes, not frequent for anybody wondering. Yeah. So in the world of Oz, the world of dark romantasy, story retellings, this was a 5-star for me. I loved it, especially what made it 5 stars, and no spoilers, but the ending. The ending solidified that, because, kind of like, let's see where it goes. Super excited to see where it goes. Can't wait to go back. I'm so excited because I was like, wow, she's already releasing the second one later this year. And now I'm like, oh, goody. Which, like, it's always good, but, it's surprising when it comes out that fast. And now I'm like, ha, 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 ha. I'm ready. I'm ready. You're ready.
Good.
Awesome. East of Eden. East of Envy. East of Envy.
Yeah. Do you know when it comes out?
I can look it up while you talk.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious because I was thinking that actually. I was like, I need to get that on my pre-order list on Audible for sure.
East of Envy comes out November 3rd. 2026.
Okay.
So we don't have to wait too long, guys. So, you know, you can read this now. Just read it now. It's so quick. It's so easy. It's so great. And yeah, who would it be good for, Liz?
I mean, I think it would be great for anyone who, I mean, you like romantasy, awesome. You like, definitely like anything even somewhat related to Wizard of Oz. If you're into fairy tale retellings, like,
yes.
you know, I would say, because I've been talking about this a lot, but yeah, any kind of fairy tale retellings, which I know that there are some people who are really good at that. Like, I do want to give a shout out to like Emily McIntyre's Never After series as well. Like, if you like those, probably will really like this too. Not quite as dark, a little bit more fantasy. So yeah, I would say like, you know, if you're looking to like kind of scratch that itch with like a classic fairy tale, but you'd like it to contain more romance, then I feel like it would be especially good.
And I would say anybody who would be curious of like, what would, you know, some character development for someone like Dorothy look like? Where could that story go and be taken with more focus on the characters in Wizard of Oz? And then if you're like me and you don't really care for a lot of spice, but you've read some other, you know, fairy tale retellings that are heavy in spice and you're like, I kind of want something a little bit different and less spicy, then this book in particular, out of the trilogy, obviously we don't know where it goes yet, but this one is great for those of you that can take or leave spice like me.
Yeah,
give it a try.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, should we get into our spoiler section?
Spoilers! Spoilers coming. Nothing to do with Wicked, though. This is nothing like Wicked, so bear that in mind.
The movies or the play or the books or anything.
Yes. It's Wizard of Oz.
It's Wizard of Oz.
There we go. And you guys, surprise, surprise, I did the 5-sentence summary today.
Yeah, you guys can't see my instrument. Okay, so here's the thing. Ashley was like, you need to learn how to play the spoons. And I was like, I don't know what that means. So she sent me a video of it, and I was like, I don't got time for that. But what was funny was the second she said you have to learn how to play the spoons, and I can't put this all in. You guys won't be able to see it on the screen because it's like a whole setup I've got over here. But I will take a picture and then Ashley can insert it. But I thought she was talking about me playing a bunch of different like glasses full of water with 2 spoons.
Okay. I don't know what the spoons are like. Oh, because you're gonna ding them?
I gotta tap them with something. I'm not gonna try to do that thing where you like play them with your hands and make them. Like,
I did that on accident a couple weeks ago. Me and the girls were fascinated. It was so cool. Give it a try.
It's honestly very it's like hard. You know, I filled all these different size glasses with all the different levels of water, you know, and I was kind of doing like a test run. I don't think I'm going to try to play any particular song because that would be really hard. And that made me think of Winston. And I was like, oh, we got to get some bells in here.
Yeah. Yes.
But it was really like addicting. Like I was like sitting there in the kitchen.
Getting into it.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I got to stop. I have things to do.
I love the commitment. I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
I knew that would spark something in you. So, and you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, no, couldn't it be the electric guitar that you own? Couldn't it be? Or electric bass? Sorry,
I just think that wouldn't be like as fun because it's just like a bass. So it would just be like, doom 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 doom. You know what I mean?
The piano was pretty fun when I did that.
Yeah, but I feel like.
This is better.
Yeah, because you can make all those different noises and stuff on the piano too. You know
Whoever might be new to us and is like, what the hell are they even talking about? Welcome, number 1, to the Crow fam. We are now indoctrinating you. But no, when we do 5-sentence summaries, we get motivation for each sentence and we give a little musical sound. This time we switched roles for the first time ever. I wrote the summary and Liz will provide the instrument. That is why we were talking about instruments.
And I'm not a very like musical lady, so I did what I could with what I had in my house.
And I'm not a very sentence-y writing lady, as you can see from that sentence I just created. So I did the best that I could. Let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes. This is going to be mediocre at best. Enjoy.
Come here for mediocrity. Okay. And vibes. Now I'm going to be so aware of how much we say vibes. Okay, great.
That's okay.
All right, let's go. And these also are much like Liz's sentences. I will say that. In the way of not as eloquent as Liz, but they are run-on sentences. So don't judge me. They have to be. They're just a guideline, okay? We're like pirates.
Yeah.
The story opens up much like the original Wizard of Oz, except we are given more character development and backstory for an aged-up Dorothy, including her Aunt Em and Uncle Henry accepting her as an orphan. Early on, Dorothy is whisked away in the Kansas house and transported to Oz. And the house lands on the Wicked Witch of the East, but it doesn't kill her instantly. Instead, the threatened witch and Dorothy battle it out, and Dorothy bludgeons the witch. And when she exits the house, she is met with a grateful crowd.
Ooh, a little bit of a twist. One. Okay. I'm trying to I'm sorry. I got caught up in it because I was trying to see if I could do somewhere over the rainbow, but it's just going to be too hard. One. Exciting.
Great. Thanks. Motivation. I can't wait to hear the next one.
It'll be organic every time.
Yeah, it's great. Along the trip that Dorothy is suggested to take by the Good Witch to find the wizard to help her get home, she saves a dying mystery Scarecrow man who has no memory of who he is, but can help her navigate the trek where she gets to know a bit about Oz, including dynamics between the witches versus the wizard, the Great and Terrible Wars, and the curses that plague Oz.
Two. All right, let's see if I could do a...
Ooh, I like that one. Ooh.
It's satisfying.
Something to my backbone.
It's once you get going, it's hard to stop.
Yeah.
Do this at home. I recommend it.
Yeah. Just fill up a bunch of glasses and freak your family out.
Why
what
not?
are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm feeling the vibe. Okay. Dorothy is overall developing as a character and growing some sort of feelings for the Scarecrow, and they have some spicy time. All the while, we get multiple point of view chapters throughout the story of the Tin Woodsman, who is a heartless henchman for the Witch of the South?
He's a heartless witch or henchman for...
No, who's the... Did you find out who the final one is?
She doesn't have a name. The Witch of the West doesn't have a name.
It's just the Witch.
Of the West.
Of the West, it is? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
North, South, East, West is hard for me. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is a henchman for the Witch of the West in hopes of freeing his imprisoned brother, as well as points of views from Cleo, the escaped imprisoned girl that was the ward of the witch that Dorothy first killed. Okay?
Three.
That's one, two, three.
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 Okay.
The next one's a doozy. There you go. I love it. Okay.
I'm having way too much fun with these over here. I'm sorry. I just want to go forever.
Okay,
but I'm we can only keep you here till 4. Okay.
Yeah. The travels come to a head when the Tin Man finds Dorothy and the Scarecrow, who he kills. Also, by the way, the Scarecrow's name is Rook. Sorry, I haven't mentioned that yet. And he takes Dorothy... The Tin Man takes Dorothy, who he was sent to capture alive and bring to that Witch of the West. As everyone in the witch's castle is under a magical spell against their will to do her bidding, they all decide to come together and kill her with the water Dorothy unknowingly but magically can create. But when they try to kill her, she confesses that she is the one who handed her over to the uncle and aunt in Kansas. But she couldn't see past that vision, annoyingly dies before more useful information is given.
Ah, that was so crazy. 4. All right, we'll do another one of the ones like a chime.
Oh, that's nice too.
Yeah.
All right, 4. The Scarecrow, Rook, shows up alive, but confesses that he is the wizard and stabs Dorothy in the ribs.
Crazy.
And then we get some epilogue where basically the new witches are introduced. Glinda was introduced previously before, but she comes back. And Delphine, I think, who wants to marry the wizard to secure more power, but instead are sent off to do the bidding. So it's kind of like an epilogue, prologue mixed in one, right? It was like it was before.
Yeah, and I think it was like a bonus scene, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. So just threw that in there. But yeah, guys. Whoa.
So many twists and turns. 5. Great job, Ashley. All right, one more to sign us
Decent
off.
job.
Decent
Ashley.
job. Decent job to me too.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie. To the camera.
All right.
It's doing something to our brains.
I know. It's honestly like quite pleasant. I was a little bit afraid that it would be jarring, but it's not, you know?
No.
Yeah.
No. It's like, hey, people pay like hundreds of dollars to go to services like that where they like make sounds with glasses stuff?
Yeah, like
There you go.
like this is our version of sound bowls. We're gonna do a meditation now, and it's just gonna be me over here dinging things with spoons. Good luck.
Yeah.
That'll be $100. Okay.
I love it. It's so good.
Oh yeah, so very twisty and turny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
things
great.
I didn't see coming at all.
Great. Didn't see it coming. Didn't see it coming. So I love that.
So
Okay.
all right, let's just kick it off with 3 tropes that you loved. What were they?
Okay. Fairy tales reimagined.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
That's literally the number one thing. Hidden identities. So we have the Scarecrow and the witch now. So that was exciting. I didn't see either of those coming. Did you?
The Scarecrow, no, I did not see that coming at all. Or do you mean the witch being the person who dropped Dorothy off in Kansas? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming a little bit because I figured it was one of the witches. Because
okay.
I was like, okay, Dorothy probably has some kind of powers and they were probably getting rid of her. And if you guys are aware of the Wizard of Oz lore, then you know, and even in Wicked also, then you know that Ozma was the, Queen of Oz who was hidden away as a child. And so I'm wondering if there's some kind of connection there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Must be.
Yeah.
Must be. That will help too. Rewrite it in my brain.
Yeah, but I
From
mean,
Wicked.
we'll see
Yeah.
because obviously, in the lore, Dorothy isn't the same person as Ozma. So it would change the story, but that's what we're doing here. That's what it's
pretty
all
cool.
about.
That's pretty fun. I love it. And then my last one is Cursed World. All the curses that are going on and stuff. I can't wait to find out more about that.
Yeah, the blight upon the land,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Secret Identity on there as well. I had Badass FMC because I feel like we are very used to the version of Dorothy that's, how old is she in the book? 14, I think, and in the movie as well, if we're talking Wizard of Oz. And then in Wicked, she doesn't really have a character. She's not a character, really, So it was nice that she is like... she has a personality, and a lot of it is like pretty badass for encountering all this crazy stuff that she's dealing with. I feel like she's handling it like kind of remarkably well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's awesome. And then obviously we find out that she has powers too, which is probably why she got hidden away, I'd imagine. And then, I had to put this, I just said specifically reimagining, but about the men. So this, I think, is where Nikki St Crowe, really, it's like her, I don't know, it's the crowning jewel in a Nikki St Crowe reimagining. It's the icing on the cake. It's the fact that she's taking those characters that, might not be the hottest. Let's, for example, The Wizard of Oz, we're not talking Wicked, okay, so we're not talking about Jonathan Bailey here. We're literally, talking about the characters
1920,
from
1930, what was that? Yeah,
I don't think anyone's looking at the Tin Man ooh,
smash,
hey, smash. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
maybe cool, I'd be his friend, but that's it. So
yeah,
I feel like that is her specialty, and so I love it when she turns these guys into what they're turning into. I'm like, I can't wait to see where this goes. It's great. So yeah, look up some character art. If you guys don't want spoilers, DM us and I'll send you some. Or you could go to Nikki St Crowe's page and she's got plenty on there too. So it's all awesome.
Yeah.
And then do you have a trope that you disliked?
I was reaching at straws here, but it's okay, I get why it's done. I wouldn't have it any other way because it's a retelling. But, females in power sucking. That sucks. Bummer.
Yeah, I struggle with that too.
So,
but
be interesting to see where it goes.
You can't win because when there's females in power that suck, then it's like, oh, can't we all just like, I don't want to say all get along because we don't need to get along, but can we all just agree on the fact that like this is dumb and we can like have power and share it and like all be powerful, right? But then when it's like tyrannical men in charge, then we hate that too because it's like, of course we've got tyrannical men in charge who are ruining everything, right? It's like, that's so typical. So it's like, there's really,
Well, and also, do they suck? Because we're going to find out. Because, hey, there was a reason behind all the stuff with Dorothy. And she was trying to prevent something and then basically couldn't prevent it. So
we don't know.
It'll be interesting to unfold. I'm very curious.
A trope I disliked I put was the yellow brick road being used. Or so the yellow brick road used to be like a, I don't know, like a stream of magic, I guess.
Yeah.
And now it's bricked over by the wizard. So I just put here government control. So like that's what that is. So it's like,
and he's using it to control the electricity and stuff.
Yeah. So that was very reminiscent of obviously like the original Wizard of Oz and then also, you know, the Wicked iteration as far as like that's a theme in fantasy in general. But I feel like utilizing the yellow brick road specifically, you know, it was a trade route in Wicked that, you know, they had to go through all these lands and destroy to create. So I felt like I liked that it was a call to that. But then at the same time, I did dislike it because we hate a tyrannical ruler who's trying to control everything, obviously.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Did you have any micro tropes that you wrote down that you liked or disliked?
Ooh, loving the magical objects. So far we have the mask, silver slippers, which were the original, in case you guys didn't know. Ruby slippers were changed for the movie to ruby slippers.
Yeah.
And then there are some other ones in there. Oh, the axe. So it's magical in a way. Only he's supposed to be able to wield it. That thing is crazy. The visualization, like when he throws the axe at their heads, it like comes, just seems like it's extra magical. You know?
Yeah, it's very like think like Thor's hammer, but like less crazy. Yeah. Like not as crazy as that, but like cool like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Actually,
I can't think of any other ones yet.
That's what I put too. I put magical objects like the shoes. That's what I put. I like the magical trinkets, you know? It's like we're collecting them as we move along.
Yeah, it's great. Love it. Love some magical trinkets.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part?
I said probably when we find out that it was the witch who brought her to Oz in the first place and that Dorothy has powers. Like, that's just satisfying, you know?
Yeah. Definitely.
What about you?
Yep, that's what I put too. And I also loved finding out that Scarecrow/Rook was the wizard the entire time and stabs her. Like, I don't love her getting stabbed, but
it's a good
she'll be
twist of events in a book.
It's a good freaking twist.
Yeah.
Both of them. Back to back. We didn't even get to breathe. It was great. I loved it.
It was like everything just like came down in the last like couple chapters. Like truly. Yeah.
Like I literally audibly gasped and then texted Liz when he's like, "I'm the wizard, stab."
That's funny.
It's great. It's great.
What about your least favorite part?
I couldn't like think of any that stuck out to me per se. What about you?
I really had to grasp at straws for this too when I was thinking about it because there was nothing that stood out to me that I just didn't like, except for small town romance with Edward the Dull Dud. That's what I put.
I mean, yeah, like give me a break. Move on. Move on already. You don't like him either. Stop trying to make Edward happen. It ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen. Yeah. So that was the only thing I could think of I didn't like. But then at the same time, it's like you weren't really supposed to like him because she's not meant to be with him. It's supposed to represent her, like, you know, her life in Kansas that she has never felt like she fits in with, you know? Yeah. He's not a bad guy. He's just not the right guy. Yeah. But he was a dull dud, and for that reason, he gets the vote.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yep. What about your favorite character?
Who do you think it is?
I think it's the men. Tin Man and Scarecrow. I think you like Tin Man best.
I do.
Yeah.
Tin Man gets the gold star.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but throw a bionic arm on a man, and that's going to get him. That's going to shoot him right to the top every time.
I mean, the way he wields his axe is pretty good. It's pretty good, if you ask me. So
there's something about, like, they don't call him the Tin Man very often. I don't think they call him the Tin Woodsman. That's just it's a little bit more.
Makes it better.
Makes it better.
It's a good balance of the two. It's like a lumberjack with some tin abilities.
With a bionic arm. He's
With a
not
bionic
made
arm.
he's not made of tin like the Tin Man. It's like he's literally a lumberjack with a bionic arm that wields this.
I didn't
axe.
love it first, but that's why you just gotta see how the story unfolds. I didn't love like, okay, he's an addict. He's struggling with this oil, which is painted out to be drugs. But then you find out he has to, or he'll literally freeze up, which was such a cool call out to like the oil can.
Dude, I know. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
Like he has to take it, otherwise he'll literally like rust or freeze up or whatever. Yeah,
because he has no heart, so he has no blood pumping oil or blood to everything. Oil blood. Yeah,
Whatever.
so you need it. So like then it's like, oh, okay, you know. Yeah. So far it'd be Tin Man for me as my favorite because he's complex. He's struggling with some stuff, you know, so that's always interesting to me.
He's got anti-hero vibes is what it's
I wasn't into Rook the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
But now that we find out he's the wizard, I'm intrigued. So he's a favorite character of mine because like, dude, that was crazy. That was a facade that he held up for a long time. So I'm curious to see where that's going.
Yeah, he's like, I don't remember anything. Like, oh,
and now
okay.
I know why that you weren't including like the wizard on any of the like meme reels we were making and stuff. Because I hadn't finished it yet when you were making those. And I'm like, that's weird. But I was like, you know what? Maybe people will comment, how about the wizard? So it's fine. We'll just keep it at them too. Oh, it's because one of them is the same.
I love that. Yeah. That was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was good. Sneaky.
So, least favorite character?
Okay. So sorry. It never happens, but it always happens with Toto. I usually, asterisk, can't stand Toto. He like gets her into trouble. He's always like causing issues. I understand she likes her dog, but could she have given it to like one of the lollipop dudes and say, here, watch this on my travels? I don't know. Or like, stay in your basket, Toto. Eat your food. Like, stop. It always is causing a ruckus. However, Toto, for the first time in all of the Wizard of Oz, like, lores and retellings and everything, I actually ended up liking Toto at the end because he can communicate and talk to, was it the Tin Man or Scarecrow he talks to at the end?
I don't remember.
So then
It's
you
probably
find
the
out
Scarecrow.
they've been talking the whole time to each other. Dorothy doesn't know it yet, so I'm hoping Dorothy gets that ability too, because then it's like, oh, and he was like a vicious little dog. He was like out hunting food and like crazy.
Yeah.
So as cane terriers do. So that was nice that it was like actually like made sense for that type of breed to like go in and muskrat around. So I loved that. And so now I like Toto. So finally somebody gets me to like Toto.
So this was
instead of just being
an
like
enemies to friends kind of story for you and Toto.
It was.
Cute.
It was beautiful. What about you?
I put La Costa question mark because she just gives playing both sides energy. She gives Glinda energy, but like in this version, you know what I mean? And so I'm concerned about her. Like, I feel like she's going to do some backstabby thing. And so she rubs me wrong. So that's why I put La Costa question mark though. Cause like to be determined, but at this time, if I had to pick someone who wasn't like, you know, just a bad person, then it would, although it's arguable that we don't really know who's actually bad and not bad in the story at all because who knows, but, that's who I would pick with the limited information we have at this time.
Yeah. I'm curious to find out who the real villains are for sure.
So did you have any quotes that stood out to you that you would like to share today?
Okay. So here's the thing. I found the quote that I literally forgot about, and maybe I wouldn't have been so shocked by Rook / Scarecrow being the Wizard of Oz. Because I remember trying to remember that when I read it. I was like, okay, this is the moment. Okay, wait. He says, so this is right before Dorothy rescued him. You get his point of view.
Okay.
The corn stalks part for her like a tide. She is a vision of light, prettier than expected. My heart thumps harder. I look up at her and I smile. And then it goes to like Dorothy. So at that point I was like, oh, he must have been sent by somebody. But I literally forgot that even happened. Because I would still be shocked that he was the wizard, but like, he was playing. I should have remembered that he definitely was hiding something.
Well, yeah, if you don't have any memories, why would you expect anything?
Yeah. Like, he knew
Suspicious.
she was coming.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, so you guys, that happens pretty early. We got, like, it's not foreshadowing, but, like,
Yeah.
you know, you could see him for a little bit of who he was and expect something from it. So then I totally forgot that happened, but it made the twist even better.
Yeah, no, that's
So-
cool. I love that you picked that
Yeah.
out because I would have never noticed that, I don't think.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
I like it when they're talking about the great and terrible war that happened in the past, you know, between the witches and everybody. So the quote is, like most coups, it took just the right whisper at the right time.
Oh, yeah. So we're getting that political, you know, diversion, whatever, political intrigue and all that with this as well, and examination.
But just like on a very like subtle level.
Yeah, a little bit easier to digest than a series like Wicked. If you have to call yourself good, are you truly good?
I have that one on here too.
Yep.
Everyone was desperate for a normal life, even if it was promised on a pile of ash.
Ooh. All right, this is my last one. The most dangerous thing of all is a woman who thinks she is powerless.
That was a good one. I have that one on mine too.
Yeah.
I have one more too. So she's talking about, you know, Dole Dud Edward. That was his name, right?
Dole Dud Edward.
Yeah,
yes,
and
our
about
birth
how-
certificate says.
Right. And about how there was a girl back in Kansas named Rosemary who like had a crush on him, and they were always kind of like a little bit like butting heads over this Dole Dud of Edward. And so the quote is, sometimes I thought about inviting Rosemary out to coffee so I could take her hand and tell her we didn't have to be enemies, that it was the world pitting us against each other, making us fight for scraps, as if marrying a man was our only chance at happiness in a future.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, there's some good themes in here, guys.
There is. Yeah.
So, all right. How is the spice? We kind of already briefly talked about this. I would say, for me, not enough, especially if we're dealing with someone like the Tin Man, the Tin Woodsman. But he's very tortured, and as I said before, and Ashley was talking about, it's like he's an anti-hero. He has a lot of problems. Obviously, his whole entire motivation is to probably just stay alive long enough to rescue his brother, who the witch has been keeping hostage, sounds like he's going to be the lion, by the way.
You're right. I was going to ask you, do you think he's the lion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I don't think he really cares about what happens to himself. You know,
Yeah.
he's just kind of like, I care what happens to my brother. I want to save him. And I know I'm under this curse, whatever. I have to do this witch's bidding. Now she's gone. We might be able to see his character arc expand and grow now. But
Well,
yeah.
I wonder if the witch is gone, do all the curses lift, you know, since she was the one that bestowed.
I guess we'll find
We'll
out.
see. I
Yeah.
guess we'll find out.
But yeah, so I would have liked more spice with him for sure.
I thought him and Cleo were going to have
Me
something.
too, but maybe not. You know, maybe.
Yeah. Or maybe
You know,
later.
if you've read the Lost Boys series, you know that it's a why choose situation.
Yeah.
So we could end up with something like that too. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
So low spice, I would have preferred more, but low spice, you were completely content with.
Yeah, especially for a first book.
Yeah.
It made sense to me. It was the amount that we had made sense for this. I think if it happened too frequently, for me, it would have pulled me out of the story. Because I'm like, we got to get going. This is just the beginning, you know? So for first book, I think it's great.
Yeah.
And it was written well, too, the ones that we do get.
Oh,
So I
for
liked
sure,
that.
for sure.
It wasn't cringy to me at all. So,
Obviously, you'll read sequels.
yes. I can't wait. I can't wait for the sequel.
Nice.
I can't wait to see what else happens. What's all these stories of the witches about? Is the Oz really evil? Is he not? What's gonna happen?
Yeah, totally. I'm excited too. I feel like it's like, you know, Nikki's one of those authors that it's like if she writes it, I'll read it. Like she's one of those. So yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
I'll pre-order it on Audible. It'll pop up one day and I'll be like, ooh, what a nice little treat when I notice it's in there.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
Love it.
So I feel like, you know, this question of what makes this particular book stand out kind of goes hand in hand with how it holds up in the Oz universe. I put
Yes.
here, like, now that we have our PhD in freaking Oz, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you think? Like, does this book stand out as part of the, you know, gigantic world of like lore and iterations that have to do with, the Wizard of Oz and Wicked. Like how do you feel like it fits? Were you happy with it?
Yeah, for what I've consumed, this was a hole I was wanting to fill. I want to know Dorothy's story. I want to have these characters more fleshed out, other than like just they're on this trip and they meet the wizard and the wizard is a facade. You know, I want to know more about that. And I haven't read anything with it done this way yet for adults. So Dorothy's aged up. It's nice to have a more modern mentality and an aged up Dorothy.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure. I'm definitely one of those people who, like, I've always loved romance and I've always craved more romance in my fairy tales. Because, like, obviously, like, fairy tales have a lot of romance, but do they have spice? Usually not, right? And if you're looking at the classic versions. And so I'm always, like, looking to scratch that itch. And so this, for me, is, like, just... that's where we're going on this journey, I hope, and I'm excited for it. I think that, it, like, fills that need for sure, in a way that is unique, because there are, some spicy Oz retellings already out there, but in my opinion, they're done in a way that's so different from the original Wizard of Oz story that it seems almost like a completely different story, which is okay and enjoyable, and they have their place in the world, the whole Oz world universe, but it's just different. So this is almost like, did you like Wizard of Oz but wanted that to have more romance and spice in it, and still stay not true to the story, but true to like the general like outline of the story, which I really appreciated.
Yes. It has the same outline. You're getting those cool call outs and nods without being like, okay, this is just the same story. Yeah. In the beginning, some people might feel that way because it opens up the same way, but all of them do, right? So to me, I enjoyed that because you're getting her internal monologue, Dorothy's internal monologue. So that's different than just seeing a young, naive girl on a farm, Yeah,
totally. More agency too. Like she's making a lot more decisions for herself, and like she's just more of a character instead of just being like literally blown along down this path. And guided by all these other figures. It's like she's making her own decisions, which is refreshing.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
So just a little quickie addition here on the Goodreads reviews. Right now, guys, this is pretty new still. So if you, read it and liked it, go give it a review. Right now, it's only got 1,475 ratings on Goodreads, and it gets an average of a 3.93. So that's where we're at this time. So go read it and review it. It needs more reviews than that, for sure.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. And then me for Audible, I took a look at that. It has only 31 ratings so far, but it gets a 4.5. So we have also, so 7 narrators. We have Amy Hall and Connor Crace. I think that's how you say it. Ellie Gosage, Samantha Brentmore, Sean Masters, Shane East, Stella Hunter. So Nikki had told us in the interview a couple of those are repeats from her Vicious Lost Boys series. And so she immediately was like, okay, you're going to cast them, but she wanted a larger cast. So they added some newer voices to her. So it's great. I started with the physical read, immediately sucked in because it's easy to visualize, right? Sure. She does a great job world building, but it's a world that you're already familiar with. So it's easy and you're not bogged down with all the details because you're there, you see it. I'm going. And then just because of time and also curiosity, I'm like, let me switch to the audio. And boy, howdy, it was great. It was perfect. Like all the voices were perfect.
It's like, I'm sorry, but I know you guys are Shane East fans. I know I am. So just enjoy that little nugget. I'm sure that was great.
Yep.
Good. That's good to know because like
Super
I said,
good.
I've had it sitting in my Audible. And so when I do my reread and refresher, that will definitely be on the list.
At the very least, you could do the audio and you have a great time. You know, if you don't have time to read the physical right now, give the audio a try. And on Audible, it has the read and listen, which I did for the final, like, last 10 chapters, I want to say.
It's so good. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
I love it.
Me too.
I got in bed last night. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Because I'm already listening to this amazing audio. I'm not going to stop now.
Yeah.
That's hard for me. Once I find, and if I switch to an audiobook or I want to go back and forth, if the audio is good, it's hard for me to stop. So I love the read and listen option then, because then it just follows along.
It's my
I
favorite.
don't have to do nothing. It's great.
The only thing, Audible, if you're listening, which they're not, but if they were, this is what you should do, okay? This is and maybe I'm doing it wrong, but this is my thoughts, because generally speaking, most of the time, I'm doing a lot of note-taking, especially on the bigger books, you know?
Yeah.
And so, what I don't like is that, so let's say you have it in your Kindle, because I did this with When the Moon Hatched. I have it in my Kindle and I have the audiobook version. It should link that so that when you're doing the read and listen feature on Audible, you can make your notes and you can highlight on that and it will transfer those to your Kindle as well. Like, it should all be connected.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the next step.
That's the next step. Because right now what I would have to do is pause the read and listen, go over to my Kindle version and add the highlight. I should be able to just do that right from the read and listen version.
Yeah, for sure.
Otherwise it's top tier, and it's something that I feel like, if you like subtitles,
yeah,
guys,
there you go.
It's literally perfection, because it's like highlights every word as it's being spoken, and as you're reading it with your eyes, it's like such a delight. It's very, very satisfying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
All right. Well, do you have any other things that you wanted to add about West of Wicked before we move on to our smash or pass of the day?
No, I'm just excited. I'm excited for the next one. I really am.
I'm excited for you to finally be diving into the Nikki St Crowe universe. It's great over here. We're all having a good time. Okay, so do you want me to go first with smash or pass, or do you want to go first?
Sure. Hit me with it.
All right, so I had to know, if we're sticking with the theme of, obviously the Tin Man and the bionic arm, does Bucky Barnes do it for you? Smash or pass?
Who?
You don't know who Bucky Barnes?
Bucky Barnes. When do I ever know anyone that you're talking about? Ever. Bucky Barnes.
The Winter Soldier?
The Winter Soldier.
My brain is short-circuiting right now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, just do a quick little
Captain America. I don't know. You know I don't know superheroes, Liz.
You haven't.
I thought this was a Game of Thrones guy when I Googled it. I don't know, because I'm not seeing it in action. So he's a superhero character? He literally looks like he stepped out of Game of Thrones.
I mean, yeah, I think that adds to his appeal.
I mean, I gotta know more context.
A petition for Ashley to finally catch up on the Marvel universe so that she can join us all in the Bucky Barnes fandom, because he is one of our favorite.
He's flipping someone off in this picture, and I like that. I like that attitude. Okay, so I'm seeing an attitude. Ooh, I like the black, crow makeup on his face.
He's a vibe, good. For sure.
Okay, I trust you. Oh, I've seen that picture of Smash.
Which picture? Which one?
This one. This one.
I'm like, which one? We must know.
Show me the tree.
Yeah. Literally, though.
It's hard. Hang on. Okay, it's hard. I'll just save it to my desktop.
I'll just make it my screensaver. It's fine.
Hang on. Where'd it go? No, that's not it. Come on. Dang it. You're making it so hard for me. I'm going to lose interest. Okay.
The grand reveal. It's just like keeping me in so much suspense. Oh, okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Was it not worth the wait for you?
No, but it's a classic.
Do this. Yeah, it's a classic. So, yeah.
So you're going with Smash.
Sure. Smash.
I think that will only become more of a Smash if you ever enter into that world.
Fair.
Yeah.
I don't like how low his eyebrows are, but it's okay. I'll let it slide.
You can't have everything.
You can't have everything. Exactly. We're willing to look past the lowbrow. Okay. Liz.
Yes.
I don't know if we've done this before, so tell me if we have.
Okay.
So keeping in the Oz universe, F, marry, kill, the traditional classic movie version of the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion.
Okay, so like the oldie version. Okay, so I'm definitely killing the lion because dude is so annoying. I can't take it. Ugh. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's just in his voice, the singing.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I probably would. F the Tin Man and then marry the Scarecrow. That seems okay. I mean, it's not great, guys. Like,
there's not good situations.
We're doing the
here.
best we can with what we have to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah. Straw. Ooh, yikes. Straw's itchy.
Straw is
just
itchy.
for that reason, I can't smash that, but I can marry him and be in a platonic relationship.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I'll smash the Tin Man. Even though I think he'd be able to be more useful, like as a husband, I'll just go put him to work.
A cabin.
Go build stuff. But for the sake of my nether region, so let's kill the Cowardly Lion, obviously. Yeah. Smash the Tin Man and marry the Scarecrow.
Okay, so we got
Final
the same answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be curious to hear what you guys have to say about that. Do any of you guys have a thing for the Scarecrow, for the Tin Man?
Dude, that makeup is extra scary too, though. Like, because it's like his face into his collar.
I know.
It's like extra freaky. So, but then I'd have to marry him and look at him all the time. I could just want it done.
Hey, maybe you could marry. Hey, this is a crossover we all needed, right? Like, you marry the Scarecrow thinking like, well, this is as good as it's going to get. And then someday he transforms into the other hot version of him we know him to be.
Yeah, sure. We'll make up the rules. We do whatever we want. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Like,
let us know.
sensory-wise, I couldn't handle the hay. I really cannot stand hay. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
You feel it.
But at the same time, like, he's completely immobilized. I mean, both of them are, actually. I was going to say, so, like, if he starts getting too annoying, like, you could just pull his stuffing out and then just, like, leave him in the living room to watch TV for a while.
So vicious. Yikes.
I mean, or, like, the Tin Man, you could just, like, not...
oil him,
and then he'd just be, like, frozen there for, like, dude, I need a break, and then he's just frozen.
Yeah. I think he's the most useful, though, so that's what's hard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, go chop down a tree. Go get it done. Thanks. Yep.
Yeah, but effing the Scarecrow seems like a big problem.
Big problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
logistical.
I'd never recover. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, hey. There we go, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to our West of Wicked deep dive. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe anywhere you like to listen to your podcasts, including YouTube. We're also on Instagram and TikTok, Besties in the Books podcast, everywhere. Don't go yet, because we have a giveaway. Woo! We were sent an extra copy. So, we're doing a giveaway here on YouTube. Go ahead and comment. Who's your favorite Wizard of Oz character?
Yeah, that's
Just
a
let
good
us know
one.
in the comments. Go ahead and send us a DM over on Instagram with a crow emoji letting us know that you want to enter the giveaway. Make sure you're following us on Instagram because we're doing a giveaway for the other book. So, one book winner here, one book winner on Instagram in a different way to enter over there. That way, there's two options and everybody has a great time.
And just in case you're listening to, it is one of the hardcovers that does have the beautiful Emerald City sprayed edges. So yeah, it's a great choice. It's got a full color map inside. Yeah.
It is gorgeous.
Yes.
It is an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful edition. So good luck to you all out there. There'll be two winners on separate platforms. And thank you so much, you guys, for listening to us and making these things possible. Making it possible for us to get someone like Nikki St Crowe here and other amazing authors. So thank you, guys. And we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.